Does recording your swing even help? What are you supposed to be doing when you record your swing? Should you be doing it? And so the truth is that using video can be one of the most powerful tools that you can use to improve your game, but almost nobody's doing it right. From players who are recording their own swings to coaches, I call it abuse of video instead of use of video. And this is where everybody's recording every swing during a practice session, obsessing over all these little details. That's not going to help you get better. In this video, I am going to lay out an exact blueprint for using video to start actually improving your game. That's what we want to do here, right? So I'm going to show you exactly how to set up the camera. Camera positioning, super important. I'm going to show you what to look for in the video when you play it back to yourself. And I'm even going to show you the very first skill that you need to learn, how to work on it, what to look for, and actually how to execute an effective practice session using video. So the first thing is this camera positioning. And it is really, really important that the camera's positioned in the right place. Everybody positions the camera too far that way and too high, okay? So where we really want the camera is straight back from the hands, not straight back down the target line. Everybody wants to position that camera down the target line. That's too far this way, okay? Where I really want it, that's what this alignment stick is for. If I set up to the ball, this is an 8-iron, my hands are right over this alignment stick right here. So we really want the camera down the hand line, not down your target line here. Camera height, really important as well. Everybody recording their swing from having that camera too high. You want it the distance that your hands are from the ground. The next thing is that I like to see you record in landscape. Turn your phone sideways instead of recording in vertical. And the reason is because the mistake that everybody makes, one, they record in vertical, and a lot of times they record from too close. So move back a little bit and turn your phone landscape. That just captures a much wider area, okay? And what we really want to make sure of is that the club doesn't go out of frame throughout the swing. It's important that we can see the club throughout the entire swing. Everybody has slow-mo on their phone now too, right? So when you're recording your swing, use slow motion recording because that reduces the club blur throughout the swing and allows us to see that club face a lot better. Now, let's back this up here. I'm gonna back that camera up. I'm gonna actually set this up and show you what this setup looks like. All right, so you can see our setup here. If I'm set up to the ball, that wide alignment stick right under my hands. If I go straight back on that line, it's gonna hit the lens of the camera. Lens is over on this side right here. Gonna hit the lens of that camera right there. Okay, you can see how low it is. Hand height from the ground here. So that's the camera positioning. Now I'm going to record a couple of swings and I'm gonna take you through executing an exact practice protocol that's going to help you learn how to use video effectively to build the very first skill that you need to learn. All right, you saw the setup. These are a couple of swings I made right after that last part of the video. So first, here's our typical over-the-top slicer, right, with the chicken wing right here. And I'm going to show you exactly what you're working on, exactly what to look for in this video here. And then I'm going to take you through a little practice protocol session here and show you how to work on this. This is our from the inside swing, hitting that nice draw that we want. So what I want to point out here is a plane line first. Okay, a plane line is a line that goes from the hosel of the club up through your belt buckle. I'll draw this one in red over here. And so this is what everybody struggles with, is this big over the top swing. And you can see where that club is swinging. It's called over the top because the club head is swinging over the top of the plane line there. It's also called outside in. Here you can see where that club head's getting outside of the ball and traveling this way through impact. That's that over the top outside in swing. And then when you combine it with that chicken wing over here,
Now we get that open face, and even with an 8-iron that I'm hitting right here, pretty hard to hit a slice with an 8-iron, but I managed to do it with that over-the-top swing. Some might call that a fade. Trust me, with an 8-iron, that is not a power fade. That's a weak slice right there. So that obviously is what we don't want. Let me now go back to the one in the right here. Let's go back and put that same plane line up here. And I want to point out two things that you're going to be looking for when you record your own swing. So the first one is right here. So you can see that club head coming down right down the plane line, right? That's perfectly on plane. Means I'm not swinging over the top, not swinging too far from the inside. It's right on plane when it's coming down that plane line. But the big thing that I want you to notice right here is that the club head is inside of the hands, right? With our over the top swing that we saw over here. Look at this move right here. And you can see where that club is outside the hands right here. Right? So that's what we're looking for. That's your first checkpoint when we get into this little practice protocol, and I show you exactly how to work on this at home into the net. But the first thing you're looking for is club head inside the hands right here. The next piece that you're looking for is right out here, and you're looking for the toe of the club. Let me clear all these. You're looking for the toe of the club passing the heel of the club right here. Okay, see how that club has the toe of the club up and the arms are extended and there's a little bit of space between the hands and the body. And when you swing over the top, that space is going to see how that club head and my hands disappear so quickly there in the left, right? So everything's working out to in, over the top, left of target. That path's going left. That makes my hands go left. My hands go left. I get the low exit. Then I get the chicken wing. So all these things are related. So what we're going to be working on here when I take you through this little practice protocol is swinging more from the inside on the downswing. And your two checkpoints are right here where you're looking for the club head inside. Let me clear that. Should be green. Looking for the club head inside the hands. And your next spot that we're looking at right here is right there where we're looking for the toe of the club in this toe up to the sky position, right? Let me go back a frame so you can see this. Right there. You can see the club toe to the sky position right here. And that little bit of gap between the hands and the body. So let's go out to the net. I'll show you exactly how to work on this.
All right, we're at my side yard here. This is my office. I set the camera back in here. Sometimes I do live events and stuff out here. So I've got to talk to you about the importance of this practice at home. This is where the skill building takes place. The driving range can really be a waste of time because you go out there, you try to correct ball flight from one swing to the next with 8 different swing thoughts while you hit 300 balls. And you don't accomplish anything that way. You will get way more skill building out of these 5-minute practice sessions at home on a daily basis, maybe a couple times a day, than you ever will from hours and hours of beating balls. The other thing that you have to realize about this is when you are learning these skills, you have to start small and you have to start slow. I've never yet seen a single person who's an over-the-top swinger with that chicken wing who can learn how to swing from the inside and make that effortless power forearm rollover release, trying to do it full speed with full swings. So you got to slow it down and you got to make smaller swings. And I mean really small swings to start with. You know your checkpoints now, right? So you know how to set up that camera. You know what you're looking for. You're looking for that club head inside the hands right here, and you're looking for the toe of the club past the heel of the club right out here with ideally a little bit of space between the hands and the body. No matter how slow you have to go with this, and now you can check yourself and you can put up your camera on that tripod and you know where to put it and you know what you're looking for, and you just go really slow. And I mean, like, I'm thinking 1/8 length, 1/8 speed swing here. And I'm just going 1/8 length, 1/8 speed. Can I just get that club path coming from the inside, coming from inside the hands and get to here? Then you go and check yourself and you go, okay, I can do it with 8th length, 8th speed swing, okay? And usually most people can pretty quickly with that short of a swing. Now, can you do it with something like quarter length, quarter speed, right? So now we're just going not much faster, but just a little bit faster and longer, and we're just going. There we go. We're starting to add just a little bit of speed, just a little bit of length. And when you get it right, I mean, that ball popped off the club face even with that tiny little swing, and you'll start to feel that when you get this right. But that's really all that the skill building is, recording yourself and finding out at what point does it really start to break down. That's probably the most important thing, because there's going to be a point, and for most players, it's pretty easy to do 1/8 length, 1/8 speed swings and get it coming from the inside and releasing the club. Probably pretty easy, quarter length, quarter speed. And then once you get up to half speed, half length, half speed, and try to make that transition to more 3/4 length, 3/4 speed, that's usually when players start to see that little over the top start to creep back in there. Once you find out, that is where you need to do all of your work, is where does it start to break down a little bit? Because you want to be really challenging yourself and working on the edge of your capability. So if you are able to fairly easily, once you start working on this, and it's just kind of, working on, I'm right here, and I'm just trying to feel this. I'm just trying to exaggerate, kind of swinging from the inside, exaggerate the toe of the club, whipping past the heel of the club. So now once you get to where you can kind of do it with these half length, half speed, it's probably a little more than half length, half speed, but that's what it feels like anyway. Then once you go to 3/4, 3/4, you might start to see it break down. That's usually where most players do. So that is now your task, and your goal is to go from being able to do it with half length, half speed to being able to do it with 3/4 length, 3/4 speed. And then eventually, of course, it's just a swing change that you've made and you own, and you're able to make these full speed swings coming from the inside and releasing the club. So that's how you work on it. It is so tempting to go out to the driving range and just beat balls, especially once you have an idea of what you're working on, right? But I'm telling you, that is not where the skill building takes place. When you go out to the range, you're gonna make full speed swings because you paid for your balls. You're gonna see ball flight, all that kind of stuff. And I'm telling you, what matters is your frequency of practice, not your duration of practice. You have to practice very often for short periods of time. You have to learn this stuff with the small, slow swings first. I've never seen a single person who can learn to swing from the inside, release the toe of the club, past the heel of the club, make that draw style swing, going full swings, full speed. So you've gotta slow it down, chunk it down, quality over quantity, frequency over duration, and that's how you really use video effectively to build real skills and actually improve your game.